Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Thanks for joining us. 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Finally got the big move out of the way yesterday. Other than a health issue, or losing loved ones, I think moving is the worst possible event in life.
I'm with you.
Yeah, it's just...
It doesn't matter if you're moving across the street or across the country. You still have to move all that stuff.
Yes. And as I told Jackie, if the next time we move, and it's probably going to be pretty soon, I will not resist you getting rid of every single thing we own. Yeah. You get no resistance from me. Yeah. We can throw out all my clothes, televisions. I don't care. Just throw it out. I'm
100% on board with this idea in my own life.
Sucks. And instead we've got 40 years of stuff that accumulated over that time. So,
and it can't be easy doing it in 100-degree heat.
No, I felt so bad for the movers yesterday. I got the best movers. It's a company called Einstein Moving. You ever heard of them?
No.
Really excellent.
Are they local or are they national?
I think they're national.
Okay.
I think
Einstein Moving. I'll take a look here.
All of them spoke English, which is a plus for me.
Amen.
Maybe it's just me, but
it's not.
It's not local.
It's not. I'm saying it's not just you.
Oh, okay.
That likes the.
Yeah, I like to be able to communicate to the people who are in my house.
It looks like all over Texas and Tampa, Florida.
Oh, okay.
So they need to branch out.
So they are sort of local, but they used all. I think they were native born. Not that I'm a xenophobe. I don't care. I just like to, again,
I'd like to be able to communicate. You're moving my life.
Yes.
I'd like to know that you understand the process that's involved here and where you're taking it.
Do you know the words upstairs? Do you know the word downstairs? Do you know the words take that out? It's helpful. And these there were 6 of them, and they were all super friendly, introduced themselves, shook our hands. I mean, it was really... different experience than I'm used to with movers. We had to get a refrigerator for the new place, and so the people who delivered the refrigerator spoke almost zero English. They spoke the word, if it's a word, okay. That's the only word we had in common. Was it okay? What? Okay. Okay. So, and then you just say okay because I don't know what you're talking about.
I may have just given them access to my bank account. I have no idea. I said okay.
Right. I said you can come back and slaughter my family later on today. We'll all be fine with it.
He said okay, Your Honor. Honestly, what you might want to consider is like a translation app or something, and that way you type in what you want to say, and then you walk up almost like you're George McFly in Back to the Future, and you're holding out your lines. Get your damn hands off her. Anyhow,
I wish I would have thought of that. Yeah, it would have been helpful.
You just walk up there and you just. Do your best.
Eventually, I guess we'll have the Star Trek situation where you've got a universal translator, so you just speak it and it comes out in the language you know. That would be nice because nobody. I mean, if I move to Mexico, I'm probably learning Spanish. In fact, there's no probably. If I move to Berlin, I'm going to want to know German, especially if I'm going to spend any length of time there. If I'm there for a day or two, it's not that big a deal. If I'm there to live. I'd learn it.
You're asking a lot of a society to be able to function properly.
Yeah.
That can't communicate with each other.
And it's not right. It's just not right. It's racist and xenophobic. And so shut up about it.
Hold on. Did it get to the intended location?
I did.
Okay.
It did.
Well, that's a happy.
Well, especially with these guys yesterday because they all, spoke
And the refrigerator
English.
Situation's okay then?
The fridge seemed to work. We figured it out because I wanted to ask him to program it for me, put it to the right temperature because I was unfamiliar. Okay. All right. Yep. See ya. I don't know what. So I figured it out. I got a YouTube video and figured it out.
YouTube videos are
the best.
Well, it's like having your grandfather with you forever.
It is. Yeah,
It's
it is.
like if you have a question, you go to YouTube and there's your instruction.
And almost anything you could ever possibly want to know how to do, you can find it on YouTube. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
We live in an incredible age.
Sure do.
There's some give and take with that, but the technology aspect is fantastic. Did you watch any of the Olympic Games?
Oh, no.
Watched a little bit of the gymnastics coverage last night. The USA men won their first medal since 2008 in it, the bronze, but that was kind of fun. And I swore I wasn't going to watch any of it because of the opening ceremonies, but I got sucked in.
No, I'm with you. I started to watch what I thought was going to be a documentary on the 96 Olympics, the women's gymnastics team. Remember, that was Carrie Scruggs. You can do it.
Right.
And it turned out to be an advertisement for women's athletics. And I thought, oh my gosh, is this documentary was made by NBC, the same people that refuse to define what a woman is. And you're telling me, look at how great women's sports is. It was like, what are we doing? And so I gave up. I watched 5 minutes of it, and
yeah, because it's aggravating.
Oh, it was so bad.
And you just don't need more aggravation in your life.
No, I don't.
What was the documentary done by biologists? How'd they even know these were women doing sports? Weird. Weird.
What a world.
Yesterday, things I guess happened other than my move. I wasn't aware of it, but Joe Biden traveled to the LBJ Museum here in Texas, where he was set to unveil his radical plan to reshape the Supreme Court.
This is dangerous.
Oh, man, this is so bad. He wants to destroy the country on the way out. He wants to finish the destruction. He was asked about it and made some nonsensical comment about Speaker Mike Johnson, who said the plan is dead on arrival in the House.
Speaker Johnson said it's dead on arrival. That he is?
He's dead on arrival.
How are you going to get this vote? How are you?
And he
What
says
a
it twice.
comeback.
He is. He's dead on arrival.
Wait, isn't that violent rhetoric? Is that a threat?
It's so bad. He sucks. Oh, he sucks so much. But it was good to see the guy playing president is still out there.
Yeah, still playing.
Yeah,
still
so
pretending.
That's neat.
Good for him.
Right.
He was actually upright, too. He was standing. He was not laying down on the tarmac.
Well, that was only 10 seconds of the whole trip. So
that's
I don't know
true.
what happened when the camera turned away.
He probably went down immediately. So Speaker Johnson is dead on arrival. Interesting.
Yeah.
Again, if that was Trump
gosh.
saying something
Oh,
similar about
gosh.
Nancy Pelosi or whatever. Oh, my gosh. Can you imagine the outrage?
Yes, I can.
Then he discussed that plan for the Supreme Court.
This is agonizing, man.
I'm calling for a constitutional amendment called No One is Above the Law Amendment.
Oh, that's a good one.
It holds,
No one is above the law amendment.
I mean this sincerely, it holds that there's no immunity for crimes former president committed while in office. I share our founders' belief.
Pause it. That already exists. They can't actually commit crimes on purpose. From a personal standpoint, like if the president, if he was about to go strangle one of the reporters there and kill them, he would be held responsible and accountable for that. What the immunity does is protect you for policy and decisions and, trying to do the job of the president. You don't want to prosecute people just because you disagree with them. And that's what it's designed to protect, not to allow presidents to commit crimes. That's ludicrous. But he's got more.
He's talking to a pretty brain-dead base, so they'll believe anything.
That's true.
The president must answer to the law. The president is accountable for the exercise of the great
apply
power
to
of the
you?
presidency.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
We're a nation of laws, not kings and dictators.
Oh, the nerve.
I know.
The unmitigated gall of this guy.
The decision can be boiled down to the title of one case, Trump versus the United States. The court asserted it was making a ruling for the ages. That isn't true. The court made a ruling for one, a former president. No other president in our history has asked for this kind of immunity for criminal actions. And no president, no former president, not me, not one, should have been given any exception to such immunity.
He nailed it. He nailed it, right?
He nailed that line so much that I got to hear it again.
You want to hear this again?
Yeah, just for emphasis, because it was so powerful.
Keep in mind.
You'll get chills.
Yeah.
You will get chills.
He's wrapping up point 1 of 3.
Oh, okay.
And so he hits it out of the park, like you said.
All right, let's hear that one more time. Because
a former president, no other president in our history has asked for this kind of immunity for criminal actions. And no president, no former president, not me, not one, should have been given any exception.
Should have been given the exception.
Second thing I'm asking for.
I don't think it's dead on arrival anymore. That was
We've had
convincing.
term limits for presidents of the United States for nearly 75 years after the Truman administration. And I believe we should have term limits for Supreme Court justices of the United States as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you?
Yeah, we saw what changing the Constitution for the direct election of senators did to America. States no longer have a voice. Why don't we leave the founders' vision alone?
In fact, the United States is the only major constitutional democracy that gives lifetime seats in their high court. Term limits would help ensure that the court membership changes with some regularity. That would make timing for the court's nomination more predictable and less arbitrary. Reduce the chance that any single presidency imposes undue influence in generations to come. The bipartisan commission I convened analyzed various term limit structures. Based on their report, I believe the best structure is the 18-year term limit.
Okay.
That would help ensure the country would not have what it has now. An extreme court that's proud of an attack on the confirmation process that's been weaponized by those seeking to carry out an extreme agenda for decades to come.
Okay.
By the way, these guys mean it.
They mean it.
These guys mean it. Project 2025.
Oh, there it is.
They mean it.
I hope they do.
I'm calling for binding code of conduct for the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Got some bad people in there.
Because some of them have flags and put them up. And we don't want that anymore.
Glad to hear you say that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's one of those guys has a flag and they put it up in their yard and it was upside down. And I don't like that.
You don't like it?
So let's get him out of office.
I know we're going to talk about Venezuela later, but there were some Cuban-American congressmen and women who came out yesterday after this speech and said the first thing Nicolas Maduro did in Venezuela was change the Supreme Court.
I believe it.
Da-da-da.
I believe it. They're always following the playbook of socialists and Nazis and fascists. Always. And then they simply blame the other side for it. It's their MO, and they're really good at it. They just keep doing it. Meanwhile, here's something Kamala Harris said about the Supreme Court. This should concern all of us.
So I will say that I am interested in having that conversation, and I'm open to this conversation about extending the number of people on the United States Supreme Court, about increasing the number of people in the United States Supreme Court.
Oh, how about we don't do that?
Yeah.
And do you think any of this talk?
Well, let's at least have a conversation about it. Can we?
You want to have a conversation about it?
We need to have a couple of conversations. One is about race.
Okay.
When are we going to have that discussion?
When?
When will that conversation take place? When we talk about race and racial issues in this nation.
Right.
And another one is talking about the size of the U.S. Supreme Court, which has never in our history exceeded 9 people. But I want it to now.
You want it to.
Because I want to pack the court with as many people who are like-minded with me as possible.
Do you think that the left would be having this conversation about altering the court and expanding the court and all that fun stuff if they had the power right now they were nominating people?
You know they wouldn't. You know they wouldn't. No. The answer is no, and everybody knows it.
Everybody knows it.
Because when they did have the advantage, or when it was even close, they didn't have this concern. It's only when things go against their point of view and their agenda.
No,
that they then have a fit.
They use the courts for their agendas, for judicial activism.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, I can't imagine if you really step back and look at the court, it's pretty moderate. It is a pretty decent balance.
Yeah. Yeah.
So stop with this. It's a radical agenda on the court, far right-wing extremists. Shut up, man.
I mean, it's garbage. What they keep screaming about is garbage. I don't know how many decisions that have gone against the conservative flow they've made in the last year, but it's considerable. It's a lot. And it's to the point where Amy Coney Barrett is like, have you switched sides now?
Yeah. The trajectory for her is
bad.
Not good.
No.
And of course, Roberts is Mr. Mush.
He's been
in
for
the
a
middle.
long time. Yeah, long time. All right, let me tell you about the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. Man, is this thing fantastic. We have used these so much lately. In the move, when you go into a new house and there's just weird smells, I don't even know what they are. They're just offensive to me. I don't know what you did in here. I don't want to know. But I don't like it, and I'm going to put one of these in the wall and turn it on, and that's all you have to do. Pop up the plug-in, stick it in the wall, turn it on, and in seconds, that offensive smell, will go away. And it doesn't matter from whence it comes. Diapers, pets, doesn't matter. Food, it cleans up the air. Go to EdenPureDeals.com. Use the discount code PAT3. You're going to save $200. EdenPureDeals.com, discount code PAT3 to save $200.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Speaking of Kamala, as we were moments ago, the press wants you to forget what they've been saying about her for the past several years. Now everything's forgotten. We love her. We've always loved her. What do you mean? Wait, what do you mean? Wait, border czar? No. That's never even been discussed. She hasn't even been near the border. She didn't even know there was a border. That's how not border czar she is.
That almost would be a plausible defense for her.
Yeah.
I didn't even know we had a border. Sorry. Someone had told me, I would have gone down there.
A border is a line... Not an exact line, but it's a dividing point between countries. And sometimes people cross that border. Maybe that's about as deep as she can get.
Right, maybe we should be unburdened by what has been a border.
Well, she is. She is unburdened by that. So now she's poised to become the Democrat nominee. She is the Democrat nominee. And... it's interesting what they have to say about her now. Maze Moore put this montage together.
There are reports that say that you have the lowest approval rating of any vice president.
Well, there are polls that also say I have great approval ratings.
Show me those.
Voters don't like Harris. How big a drag is Kamala Harris on the ticket?
She's a pretty big jag. I think she was arguably Biden's worst political decision.
They don't like her. There's lots of reasons they don't like her.
Kamala Harris's approval rating is now at 28%, which is an historic low for any modern vice president.
We're hearing it from mainstream media, one outlet after another, one leak after another. That Kamala Harris is the worst vice president ever, the worst politician ever.
We don't see the vice president. What people are saying to me, and I'm sure they're saying it to you, where's the vice president? Some White House officials are feeling that she came off looking unprepared for inevitable questions about when she might visit the southern border.
We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making.
The point that Lester Holt was making was obvious to anyone else who was watching this interview, which is that the issues at the border are inextricably linked with the portfolio that she's been given.
The border is secure. We have a secure border.
Bidenomics is working.
Wow. Hello?
Prices have gone up.
Yeah.
And families and individuals are dealing with the realities of that bread costs more, that gas costs more.
Gas.
And we have to understand what that means. That's about the cost of living going up.
He picked Kamala Harris to be his running mate. She was ranked and is ranked as the most liberal senator in the United States Senate. So he could have gone the other way, but he went to the left.
Joe Biden is running for re-election, and I will be his ticket mate. Full stop. Full stop.
Full stop.
That's it.
Yeah. Done deal. Kamala the terrible. Yeah, I like that. That's good. That's really good. But don't pay any attention to the woman behind the curtain. Please pay no attention to her.
Goodness, this is... we cannot. America, don't do this. Don't do this.
Now the left wants you to use just one word to describe Donald Trump and J.D. Vance.
Yeah, we
and
talked about this yesterday. Yeah.
Grabian Media put this together.
Some of what he and his running mate are saying, well, it's just plain weird.
Weird.
Okay. Yeah,
these guys are just weird. That's where they are. As weird and creepy as J.D. Vance. Super weird idea from J.D. Vance.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's quite weird. They're just plain weird.
Just Memo plain delivered.
Weird. Just plain weird.
That stuff is weird. They come across weird, and then they start being weird. Yeah, they're weird.
Being a really weird.
He's such a weirdo.
Donald Trump and his weirdo running mate, they're weird. Deeply and profoundly weird.
They are weird.
These Republicans just being weird. It's just weird. It's really weird.
Republican weirdness goes even deeper.
He said a lot of things that are weird, a weird style that he brings, weird policies. Let's start with the weird thing, because it is a thing.
Just plain weird.
What was weird was talking about Diet Mountain Dew. Who drinks Diet Mountain Dew?
You ever seen the guy laugh? That seems very weird to me that an adult can go through 6.5 years of being in the public eye. If he has laughed, it's at someone, not with someone. That is weird behavior.
Weird and cultish.
These are weird people on the other side.
He kind of doubled down on his weird ideas.
I think weird is probably generous.
Simply weird. These guys are just plain weird.
Vance as weird?
You know, as the campaign said, weird.
It really is just plain weird.
J.D. Vance, plain weird.
I mean, I don't know how else you can read
Wow.
Weird. It is kind of weird.
We're not afraid of weird people.
The other side, they're just weird.
Why are you being so weird?
Vance has done something more extreme, more weird.
No matter what kind of weird stuff they keep saying.
Trump and Vance are just weird, in addition to being dangerous to democracy.
It's the weird part that's the most engaging.
Whom he addressed
I like
as
that.
my beautiful
Head of the
Christians,
Republican Party a few
which
years
was super
ago.
weird.
Weird tech bro J.D. Vance.
He's a weird guy. J.D. Vance, uneasy and sort of weird.
Frankly, for lack of a better word, that he's weird.
Sarcastic remarks that aren't even funny, and he kind of shows that he can't really deliver a one-liner.
So, Sam, weird is the word here in terms of initial impressions from Vance to the American public.
Okay, that doesn't happen organically.
No.
That was on purpose. That was a memo or a conversation on the phone that went out to everybody. Hey, you know what tests really well is presenting somebody as weird. Americans don't like weirdness. So let's drive it home that J.D. Vance is weird. And make sure you use that very word. Don't say bizarre.
No.
Don't say kooky. Don't say crazy. Don't say we disagree with it. Say weird.
Yeah.
And make the American people uncomfortable with him.
Grabian Media does a great job.
Wow, that is phenomenally
Did you
great.
notice that one of the criticisms was he can't deliver a punchline?
Yeah, are you kidding
Joe
me?
and Kamala are just comedians with a microphone.
And the laugh thing? Hey, have you ever have you met Kamala Harris?
No.
Right. Exactly.
Oh.
Well, that's just weird.
Yes.
All of the weirdness is weird. Wow.
Yes.
It's astounding.
It sure is. That is a conglomerate over there.
Wow.
That when they find a common cause, or in this case, a common word, boy, they are lockstep. Those soldiers just go out and march, man.
They sure do. And we've shown this before on many occasions. And it turns out to be a word that you don't normally use. So you know that there is no way everybody decided at the same time. You know what? I think he's kind of weird. He's got weird policies, weird jokes. He looks weird. He is weird, isn't he? Isn't it weird how weird J.D. Vance is? I mean, come on.
It's astounding. It's both sickening and admirable.
Yeah, at the
way
same
they
time.
can do this.
It's true. Yep. Well, under Joe and Kamala, the dream of home ownership quickly slipping away for an awful lot of people. It's really sad. Jeez, we talked about Bozeman, Montana. I mean, there are many factors there, but this is happening all over the country. And in Bozeman, it's so bad that the locals there are being priced out of their own homes, out of their own market. People who've grown up and lived there forever can't right now. And a lot of them are just living in their cars because they can't afford what's happened there. Well, this is going on all over. It's not just the Airbnb thing. It is a phenomenon nationwide, and people just can't afford to live anymore. You couple that with the price of bread and gas, as they were talking about. Yeah, that's up, Kamala. You're right about that. Eggs, sugar, flour, butter, everything. Yeah, the cost of everything is up.
It's almost like it's by design. Trying to destroy,
isn't it though?
The American way of life.
Yeah. Even CNN though is pointing out how bad things are right now.
Well, John, look, this is such a frustrating housing market for the millions of Americans who are on the outside looking in, right? They want to buy, but they just can't. Not with these prices, not with these mortgage rates. And some of them, they're throwing in the towel, they're walking away. So this brand new CNN poll shows that 86% of U.S. renters would like to buy, but they can't. 86%, just 13% say they could afford it, but they're choosing not to. Now, to take this a step further, when you just look at the ones who can't afford it, only 46% say it's either very or somewhat likely that eventually they'll be able to buy. More than half, 54% say it's not too likely or not at all likely that they'll ever be able to buy. That really speaks to a lot of pessimism here about the American dream, how it feels like it's out of reach. Politically, you can see how this would be an issue for the party in power. And economically, it's a problem too because, look, home ownership remains the ticket to wealth generation. So this is just widening the gap between the haves and the have-not.
Yeah. You know what it is? It's weird. It's weird, isn't it?
That's fair.
Yeah.
So weird.
It's weird that people can't afford their homes anymore.
Yeah. And here's something else that's quite weird. Is that the aggregate inflation? You know, I love the Biden administration loves to talk about, look, inflation's going down. No, it's going up. The rate is slowing down. But since 2020, the U.S. aggregate inflation rate is actually...
So this is when you add it all together.
Add it all together. It's not going up just 3% here, whatever. It's over 25% interest rate or inflation rate.
Is that on everything?
Compounded, everything. Yeah. Compounded. So basically, what you spent $100 on 4 years ago
is now 125.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in fact, there was a thing that said in Wisconsin, I hope you're listening, there was a poll that said only 15% of Wisconsin voters say that their family's financial situation is better now than it was 4 years ago. 15% say, "Oh yeah, Biden's they're working for me." So there you go, Biden-Harris economy. Here we are.
So elect him again. Elect the same people to do the same thing and make it even worse. Yeah. If you're loving the misery, that's the ticket for you, Kamala, and whoever she chooses. It's just weird. So why would you do that? It's weird to me.
They are weird, that's for sure.
I can't stand it. The thing is, they're not fooling most Americans. Most Americans understand that their lives are not better in the last 4 years. They get that. And it doesn't matter how much the Democrats lie about it, cheat, steal, whatever. You can do whatever you want. They know how they're doing. You can't tell somebody, no, you're doing great, when they know they're not doing great. When they have to cut back on things like food. Yeah, we got to buy less. I mean, it's a luxury to have food and to be able to eat. So we're going to cut it back a little bit. Instead of eating 3 times a day, that's just too much. We're going to eat 1.5 times a day.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to think that you should be able to eat.
It's weird. Yeah, 3 times?
Meals.
Come on. Every day?
Privilege.
What are you, some kind of glutton or something? You don't need to eat that. That's just weird to have to do it. It's not even good for you to eat 3 times a day. All right, we got more, and we'll share it with you coming up.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
tweets to share. Bad engineer tweets, perhaps the cadaver-in-chief should enforce the law that prevents harassment of judges. No. Now you're getting crazy. Anthony Osh, code of conduct for the Supreme Court. Yeah, because those guys are sleeping with Chinese spies. Oh, constantly. All the time. All the time.
Oh, boy.
Jack's had enough. What part of 3 equal branches of government does the left not understand? Gender face. Am I the only person who's noticed that the drooling vegetable in chief can only speak clearly in 2-word sentences now? What?
I've not noticed. That's the Democrat Party as recently as 2 weeks ago.
I know.
Or a month ago.
I know.
Yeah.
What? There's nothing wrong with Joe Biden? What?
Sharp as a check.
He's the sharpest tool in the box. That's what he is.
Tell us how he is in meetings. How is he in meetings?
He's penetrating and probing.
Yeah, that's right.
Really? We're not talking about... Okay, we just won't go down that road. Dalton Bell tweets, weird. Operation Mockingbird revisited.
Boy, that's a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what this is. Except for,
it is.
Back in the day, you needed hundreds of journalists repeating whatever the CIA gave them.
Yeah.
Now they just send over an email from the White House directly.
I'd really like to know the communication tool that's used here to get everybody on board like that simultaneously. And just all of a sudden, everyone has thought of the same word to describe the same person. How does that happen? Is it a meeting? Is it on the phone? Is there an online place? Are they on the dark web doing this stuff? I don't know. It's interesting, though.
Have you ever been on an email list that you weren't supposed to be on? And you're like, that's kind of cool. I'd kind of like to be on, whatever listserv or whatever they're
It'd be fascinating,
distributing.
Wouldn't it? Remember the fake Kamala ad from yesterday? So good.
Yeah.
Do we have that available
Yeah, let's
still?
play that again.
Yeah,
Good
here's a
stuff.
little reminder.
I, Kamala Harris, and your Democrat candidate for president because Joe Biden finally exposed his senility at the debate. I was selected because I am the ultimate diversity hire. I'm both a woman and a person of color. So if you criticize anything I say, you're both sexist and racist. I may not know the first thing about running the country, but remember, that's a good thing if you're a deep state puppet. I had 4 years under the tutelage of the ultimate deep state puppet, a wonderful mentor, Joe Biden. Joe taught me rule number 1, carefully hide your total incompetence. I take insignificant things and I discuss them as if they're significant. And I believe that exploring the significance of the insignificant is in itself significant.
Talking about the significance of the passage of time. Right? The significance of the passage of time.
Right.
So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time, and there is such great significance to the passage of time.
Another trick is trying to sound black. I pretend to celebrate Kwanzaa, and in my speeches, I always do my best Barack Obama impression. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. And okay, look, maybe my work addressing the root causes of the border crisis were catastrophic, but my knowledge of international politics is truly shocking. The United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea. It is an alliance that is strong and enduring. And just remember, when voting this November, it is important to see what can be unburdened by what has been. And by what has been, I mean Joe Biden. Do you think the country went to over the past 4 years? You ain't seen nothing yet.
That's what we're afraid of.
So good. Well, the left is really mad now at Elon Musk for posting that. How dare you? How dare you? Musk shared that deep fake video spoofing the campaign of Kamala Harris. But it appears to violate the platform's own policy against synthetic and manipulated media. The video alters a recent campaign video Harris released. So the left wants it taken down.
Yeah, Gavin Newsom is threatening legislation, saying this could be illegal. If he gets a bill to sign, he will. And then Frank Luntz pointed out, and this is the first thing you learn at Journalism 101 school, is that satire of public officials is legal and protected speech in the U.S. If Governor Newsom signs a bill to ban it, chances are the bill will be found unconstitutional. Amen. So
hope so.
You can mock politicians. I mean, that's one of the reasons that's what separated us from England.
Right.
It's like, no, we can do this here.
We're the only, how did Biden put it? We're the only constitutional republic.
No, he called us a democracy.
Oh, yeah. The only constitutional democracy that has an unlimited term for the Supreme Court, for the highest court in the land. Well, we're the only constitutional republic that does a lot of things. That's the point of America.
Thank you.
That's why we're here, because we don't do it the way everybody else is. Don't throw the rest of the world in my face. I don't want to be like the rest of the world. That's why we're here. But it's going to be a tough road surviving until November, because these people are insane.
Yes.
And they're interfering with the election. Everything they accuse the right of, they're already doing and have been for some time.
Yeah, we should go through these examples just from yesterday alone of this manipulation. So
the Trump-Kamala Google results.
So if you do a Google search yesterday, if you look for, say, Donald Trump, you're going to get news about Harris. Kamala Harris there. Now, let's say you want to do a search for Kamala Harris, you're going to get news about Kamala Harris.
Oh, okay. So no matter what you do, you get news of Kamala Harris.
That's one example of election interference being perpetrated by big tech.
I mean, look at that. The other thing was you couldn't find information. It wouldn't autofill Donald Trump assassination attempt.
You had to type out the entire thing, assassination attempt of Donald Trump. We illustrated it right here on the show. That you could get information of assassination attempt.
Lenin. Vladimir Lenin.
So, but nothing here.
No.
Okay, so what's our next example? So Facebook censored this picture. Now they have since said, it was a mistake. Let's see. Here we go. What did they say? They said that it was an error that they censored that picture from being because they thought it was an altered photo. I don't know.
Thought it was altered.
I don't know, man.
What?
It's weird. Okay, what's the next one we got? Oh! Now, Elon Musk posted this thing of Donald Trump search results. If you type in President Donald, you'll get President Donald Duck and President Donald Reagan. You remember him back in the 80s.
That is just, it renders you speechless.
It sure does, Pat. It sure does. It's so clear and obvious what they are doing here.
Wow. Wow.
Now, hold on. There's another headline here. Now, this one is actually real. This isn't fake. This is a Reuters story about 160,000 people joined a White Women for Kamala Harris Zoom call. Just so you know, the Harris campaign is now segregating members of their volunteers.
160,000 white women joined that call?
Yeah, so White Women for Kamala.
Wow. Okay. Great. Great.
Is that concerning?
A tad.
Yeah?
Yeah, a tad.
Yeah, I posted a poll over the weekend. I was like, there was some group of Nikki Haley voters that are now going for Kamala.
Come on.
And I just asked, is this should this be of concern if you want to see Trump win? And I think 77 to 23 people said, no, it doesn't concern me because there wasn't that many. I mean, she got 20% of the vote, right?
Yeah.
Now, granted, a lot of those were crossover Democrats in the primaries, Nikki Haley. But still. It doesn't. There's a lot of people that vote on the basis of what's between your legs. And that's not a good place to be for a country.
No, it doesn't seem like it.
But here we are. But again, big tech they don't try to affect elections.
They're non-biased.
That's right.
They don't have a party affiliation at all.
Do no harm or do no evil or whatever the hell they
Don't be evil.
Don't be evil.
They live that to the letter.
Google.
So great. The other thing that happened yesterday was our U.S. debt officially surpassed $35 trillion.
It's exciting, right?
Yeah.
That was a big day.
Yeah.
It was a big day.
It was. The U.S. debt cannot be paid. It's time to be very And we're pretty excited about it, obviously.
We sure are.
Yeah.
We sure are.
$35 trillion for the first time. And it won't be the last time, of course. It's going to continue to grow and develop. We'll be talking about $40 trillion soon, probably before the end of the Biden reign of terror.
Will we get a song?
Yes.
For that?
Yeah, for $40 trillion.
Okay.
Yeah. Who's done that before? No one.
I just want to point out that back around the year 2000, U2 lead singer Bono was campaigning to get the debt of African nations erased, right? And start at zero.
Okay.
Because they're too poor. They're not going to be able to make up that.
Yeah.
And I would like to submit the United States of America for the next Jubilee celebration, Bono, at our $35 trillion. And just now I decided, let me Google. Let me just randomly pick some African nation. Democratic Republic of the Congo. What do you think that their national debt is? That if they could just get this wiped out, they'd be at zero. What do you think it is? I had not
Congo?
a clue. I mean,
I have no idea.
$6.78 billion. I mean, that's child's play.
That's a drop in the bucket. Come on.
If you really
I've got that in my pocket right now. Come on. Don't you?
Lance, lock the door. Pat doesn't leave this room. So hold on now. If $6.78 billion, if there's a nation that can do so much good in the world, it's us here in America. I'm making the case right now that forgive U.S. debt right now. 35, please.
Yeah, I like that.
Help us.
I like that.
This is insane, man.
The only thing that could save us is if, and I don't know that this saves us or ends us, but when inflation gets to the point where we're the Weimar Republic, then we'll just pay off the debt with, this morning's salary and like they did in Weimar.
So hold on.
So everything's inflated.
Yeah.
And $35 trillion is what you make at work every day, so you can afford a loaf of bread. That's when we'll send it all to China. We'll be like, oh, there, we're square. How about that?
Who was it that was a member of the squad? Was it Rashida Tlaib? Who was it that
the
said,
$1 trillion coin.
So okay, but I'd like to go a step further. Would you rather have 35 $1 trillion coins, Pat, or one $35 trillion coin? I think it'd be easier just to do the one, right?
Yeah, it would.
So let's
yes, it would.
That. Let's just do that.
All right. We got a coin that's worth $35 trillion, and here you go, China. Congratulations.
Here you go. Take this down to the 7-Eleven. Knock yourself out.
Have a Slurpee on us.
Gosh, we
Seriously,
are.
not a full Slurpee, but that'll buy you about a third of a Slurpee.
You better walk fast down to that store, because this ain't going to be worth much for long. That's trouble, man.
Oh, my gosh.
It's trouble. And this is, this is part of the why people today can't afford homes.
Yes, it is.
This is all connected here.
Yes.
This is not good.
The report on our debt noted how it was, get this, $32.65 trillion just last year. So we've gone up almost $3 trillion in a year. Wow. Okay, it's only $2.35 trillion over the past 12 months. That's about $268 million in new debt. Every hour. Every hour.
Good.
Wow.
Boy,
so that's quite a milestone.
Something to be proud of, huh?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it's really good.
Oh.
That's great. So congratulations, everybody.
Yeah. By the way, Jeffy just sent me a note. I wasn't aware that Elon Musk had responded to Gavin Newsom's threat of making parody illegal. Elon Musk has responded, and he writes, I checked with renowned world authority Professor Sug on.
Oh, well. Okay. Sug is a well-known professor.
Okay, he's Professor D's nuts. And he said parody is legal in America. We got there. Elon Musk. And this is why it's so important that Elon Musk owns one of the large social media outlets.
Yeah.
Because look at what we're up against with stuff like Google and Facebook censoring anything Donald Trump related. So thank you, Elon and Professor D's nuts.
It's an unusual name, but
I mean, he's got tenure.
Who am I to judge?
So he's bold with his takes.
Good. I mean, D's. How many people are named D's? Not that many. Rick D's, but that's a last name.
Well, yeah, this is, it's Germanic.
Oh, okay. All right. So what are you, xenophobic? Is that what you are? You don't like names like that?
I have no problem with the name. I would love to have a class with...
Yeah, I know you would.
That professor.
I know you
I'm
would.
sure it'd be entertaining. So there you go. I mean, this is. I mean, the hypocrisy. I mean, this is not. This is their calling card, right?
Yes.
Where don't make fun of us.
Yes.
Don't censor us. But boy, we can do whatever we want when it comes to the right. It's just. Is America going to fall for this in November? This candidate that they've conjured out of the blue, that they're doing everything they can to mute anything Donald Trump related. And of course, now suddenly age is an issue. That's the next talking point that they're going to send out in their mass emailings. I mean, it's just, come on, America, please.
Well, they're so excited that they eliminated the age issue that they're going to make it one now. So that's what they do. Again, that's what they do.
Yeah, on every issue.
On everything. They're absolute hypocrites on virtually everything. And that's why when they start talking about how they protect children. Wait, you protect children? Despite the fact that you killed over 1 million of them through abortions, and you love it, and you celebrate it, and you encourage it. You promote it. You want it legal for any reason, anytime, anywhere. I mean, they want abortion clinics now at grocery stores, so you don't even have to drive to a separate location. You can get your groceries. You can pick up, a bunch of bananas, maybe an orange, and a loaf of bread, and get an abortion all in the same place now.
Like, which order? Do you get the groceries, put them in your car, and then get the abortion? Because you don't want your...
No, you don't want the groceries sitting in there for the 15 minutes it takes to... Yeah. Well, you gotta wait till after the baby's murdered, then you give her the groceries on the way back out to the car.
It's so controversial that people want babies to live in this country.
I mean, who are these people? What evil douchebags they are.
Somebody had to say it, Pat.
You want children to live? Man, you're ridiculous. All right, there's much more on the way, and we'll share it with you coming up.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Yep. With some tweets, the Steve is weird tweets. I'm voting for the convicted felon and the weird hillbilly. Okay. All right. That's up to you. Corn Pop, the bad dude. Nice to have him with us here today. J.D. Vance, being an ethical person and placing America first, is weird to Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrate my wrath. J.D. must be okay if all they can come up with is weird. Like, that's the whole talking point. That's weird. Yeah. Sasquatch Cougar fan, if J.D. Vance is weird, then Kamala and the Democrats are creepy.
Yeah.
And evil. Let's not forget evil.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Edited for bias, Joe Biden served in the Senate for 36 years, 8 years as VP, and 4 years as president, is calling on term limits for the U.S. Supreme Court. Makes sense, doesn't it? Longest-serving justice in history was William Douglas, who served 36 years, 209 days. Weird.
Boy, where else are you going to get William Douglas?
Yeah, facts
Trivia.
like that.
Yeah.
When was the last time you even heard a William Douglas fact? Probably been a while.
The first and last time?
I'm pretty sure I haven't heard it at all this week. Until now.
Just 30 seconds ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, wow, he was until
Weird.
1980? He lived from 1898 till 1980. So, I mean, that's, 82 years. I'm looking him up here. I'm just wondering who...
and 36 years, 209 days.
Wow, that's...
in the Supreme Court. That's a long time.
Sure is.
Our Blaze reporter, Steve Baker, posted an article about the assassination attempt on Donald Trump at theblaze.com yesterday. part of it is that a top-tier U.S. military special operations expert told us at Blaze News that after examining all of the evidence so far, the hallmarks are there to suggest that Thomas Crooks, the would-be assassin, was groomed and trained for an assassination attempt. It's not in the realm of possibility for the government to be this incompetent. He spoke on condition of anonymity. He said there's no chance Crooks was not pointed to which building he needed to be on. Rank incompetence versus rank arrogance. I've seen it a lot in my 30 years in government ops. This was neither, the expert said.
Spicy.
A 20-year-old with no military or government training doing so many things correctly, rangefinder, drone, recon, turning off his phone, had to have been groomed into this process.
Yeah.
He was likely paid by some government or dark money source. I don't think he went rogue or was a rogue operator, the expert said. I've seen and been involved with these types of ops for too many years. He had instructions. Interesting. Yeah. One special operator can train or groom about 8 to 12 youths quite easily, he said, including precision operations such as the setting of explosive devices to kill operations. This is not the kind of thing done with only a single recruit. One operative can run up to 12 guys to take advantage of multiple opportunities and then activate the right emotionally disturbed and loner kid at the right opportunity. Depending on the op, I'd need at least 9 months for the source vetting and grooming. But I've done it in as little as 6 months. Then I'd need as little as 3 days to prep him for the specific operations after the requisite number of months of grooming. Gosh, this is chilling, isn't it?
Sure is.
The Trump assassination attempt has likely inspired more people to make attempts, according to the expert. Trump is more at risk now than he ever was before. His security has been stepped up, but that won't stop a band of, for instance, and I'd say with knowledge and authority, Somali immigrants who are gung-ho for Kamala Harris to risk a suicide operation to take out Trump. If the Trump shooting were some kind of deep state government op that failed, they would typically put other ops on hold and allow more radical groups to take charge.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's fun. Isn't that fun?
It is.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yep, and we have communications from the local police up there in Beaver County there that basically said, hey, we're understaffed. You know, it's going to be tough to try to get enough officers present at this Trump event, which the Secret Service would have known had they communicated with the local authorities.
But they didn't.
Ahead of the Trump
there was
event.
Zero cooperation between agencies.
Which feeds in nicely to what you just read.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, my goodness. And when he was in Nashville over the weekend, Donald Trump, on Saturday, there was a security issue. I guess they had 2 checkpoints and 2 people they got screened at the first one, and then they bypassed the second one somehow. And they did their job, the Secret Service, and held Trump back until we figure out where these 2 individuals are, escort them out of the building. Now Trump can come in. That's how you do it, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, right.
Thank you.
And they knew about this. They knew about him. An hour? Or was it 2 hours before?
Yeah, I mean, originally it was 2 hours, but then they had eyes on him
Took
again.
pictures of him.
2 hours before, he was flying a drone over it, right? That's what it was. And then 90 minutes before, I think, is when they spotted him. You got to assign somebody. I know you're short-staffed, but somebody carrying that kind of equipment around with them, maybe you keep an eye on him the entire time.
Or approach him and say, excuse me, noticed you have a rangefinder. Do you know there's a presidential candidate that's about to take the stage? We'd like to talk to you. I don't know until after he's done. How about that? Makes sense.
I still can't believe that area wasn't part of the cordoned off area.
No, I know. You know. It's just incredible. That was outside the perimeter.
Outside the perimeter.
Yeah, barely. And with a vantage point and line of sight to the stage. So you don't take precautionary measures To secure that building, of course you do. Of course you do.
And I still have questions about the open window up there on the second floor. There's an open window down lower. I don't know if you could see Donald Trump from the window that was clearly open down on the ground level. But there were people standing at the fence watching the event. So if they could see the president from there, it's just so much, man. So much.
We have a video coming up in overtime that is amazing. That hasn't been released. I think it was released yesterday or last night. Yeah. I don't know why they held on to it this long, but they took this video of right around the building and what was going on for, I don't know, 7 to 10 minutes before the actual shooting. And people were noticing toward the end of it that this building is surrounded by cops. What's going on? Something's going on in this building. Yeah, so they knew. And they were starting to do something way too late because they couldn't see the guy with the incredible slope of the roof, and the steam from the heat of it coming up. You couldn't see a thing. But we'll play that video for you. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Also, Jay Sixer just got out of jail, I think, a couple of days ago, and spoke with Jill Savage. And on her show, and this is pretty interesting too. His name is John Strand, and he attended the Capitol on January 6th, of course, as the friend and bodyguard of Dr. Simone Gold, who was scheduled and legally permitted to speak on the Capitol grounds that day. But when the Oath Keepers and Strand escorted Dr. Gold to her speaking location, the chaos had already begun. Strand and Gold were uninvolved in breaching the Capitol building. They never once participated in any violence whatsoever. They made the mistake, though, of entering the building along with the crowd. They went in, but they departed peacefully, like so many thousands of others, but that was enough to land them both in hot water with the Department of Justice. Strand and Gold were some of the first to be arrested and charged with 4 misdemeanors as well as the 1512 felony. While Gold took a plea deal involving 60 days in prison. Strand was outraged by the obvious injustice of it all and fought the charges. And because of his resistance, not just serving his 2 months like a good little boy, he was convicted on all charges, and he was sentenced to 32 months in prison, 2.5 years in prison, which he served. But the 1512 has now been overturned by the Supreme Court, and so he's been freed. And just a few days out of jail, he talked to The Blaze yesterday. He said, jail was a very painful, miserable place, which I can imagine. God did a lot of great things, but it was terrible. My time in prison was actually split between 2 facilities. The first half in Miami, where I was actually viciously abused in an isolation environment for about 4 straight months, which was essentially like being waterboarded. And when I was released from there and transferred to another location where it was a little less oppressive, it felt like I was trying to breathe the oxygen of freedom through a straw from underneath the swamp. You're being held in solitary confinement, which is essentially torture, according to Steve Baker. There was a problem getting this message out because they tend to punish you more when you mention these things. And that's what is happening to Steve. And John Strand said that's exactly what happened to me. They fabricated a whole series of ridiculous circumstances to put me in isolation for a couple of weeks, basically to say, watch out, we'll crush you if you look sideways at us. They pulled me out for a couple of days, and then a story that I had nothing to do with went viral on media. Congressman Marjorie Taylor Greene reported on me being tortured and abused, and they put me in this interrogation room and grilled me about this, like I had something to do with it, like a scene out of a movie. Then they threw me back in, and I wasn't seen again for 3.5 months. Oh. This is because he entered the building and walked around it for a few minutes and left, and did nothing to the building. Committed no violence, beat no police officers, broke nothing inside, and for that, was sentenced to 32 months in prison. God,
it's
incredible, isn't it?
You hear a story of injustice like this, and you think, third world country. What country are we talking about over there? What's that story from? Oh, the United States of America.
And you just can't believe it. You just can't believe it's come to this.
It's heartbreaking, man.
Yeah.
These lives have been wrecked financially, emotionally, spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
The damage is incalculable.
And they didn't do anything wrong. How pissed off would you be if that was you? Oh my gosh. I mean, I'd be put in prison again.
Yeah. This time I'm going to earn it.
Yeah. Right.
That would be how I would feel.
It's really sad,
it would take everything in me to lash out. So God bless these people who have gone through these severe injustices have somehow kept their wits about them. God bless them.
All right. Let me take a minute and talk to business owners for a second. I mean, I know the frustration that you face every day with increased regulation, the impact of inflation. I experience that in my business as well. And interest rates. All of those things affect the bottom line. There is a solution, though, that's been built specifically to help you save money and, most importantly, align you with an alliance of like-minded business owners that share your values. You're not alone. I know it feels like you are sometimes, but you're not. And by joining with other business owners, you're going to amplify your voice to the idiots in Washington who hate your guts. The Freedom Chamber is now open for business. Who would have guessed that this would ever be a necessity, that you would need something called the Freedom Chamber because the Chamber of Commerce has gone to the dark side? It sucks. But the Freedom Chamber is there for you. You're going to receive exclusive benefits to help your business grow while being rooted in their values of faith, family, and freedom. The Freedom Chamber is pro-American business network. Join with other American businesses all across commercial sectors. The Freedom Chamber's mission is to promote values while fostering the growth, sustainability, and success of member companies. The Freedom Chamber is a dynamic and innovative organization with comprehensive support, robust resources, and exclusive networking opportunities. It's going to be great. And to align your values with something that can also help your business, there's nothing better than that. Join today at freedomchamber.net. That's freedomchamber.net.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us. 888-900-3393. Got some tweets here. Lone Wolf 2965 tweets. Funny how all of Big Tech's mistakes seem to fall in one direction against Republicans. I mean, what are the odds?
What are those odds? Huh?
An amazing coincidence how that happens. Tamara B, in the significance of time. Get it right. It's the significance of the passage of time.
I see.
Can we fast forward to inauguration date, January 2025, and be unburdened by Biden-Harris?
Yeah.
Yes, please. Chris is gone this week, so I don't know. Lance, do you know that website that tells how long, how many days are left?
I know we're 98 days from the election.
Yes. A little bit longer than that, obviously, to the inauguration.
Do you want to trust Keith math here? Add 25 days to November.
Okay.
And then 31 for December.
Yeah.
Up to 56.
And then 19 or 20 more for January.
60.
You got 30 minutes right there.
65.
So we're 30 minutes
plus
away.
98. You're 163 days. Or 100. Good night.
Let's just say it's
60.
It's coming soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. To a country near you.
30 minute.
You ain't country. Now that our debt is over $35 trillion, what exactly did we put up as collateral? Oh, I think we're going to be surprised when we find out. I'm pretty sure that's how debt works, and I don't remember any of the details. Yeah, nobody does.
The details are...
like China owns everything.
The cost of living now.
Yeah. BYU Mullethead tweets, we can't afford homes, and rent is as much as a mortgage payment. It's like they just don't want us to own anything and be happy with it. Isn't it, though? Yeah, it sounds a little bit like Venezuela.
Oh my gosh, what they have been going through for 30 years down there.
Yeah,
could so easily be our story if we're not careful and get our elections on lockdown.
Some chaos happening right now there. Disputed election results as Maduro is trying to hold on to power.
Yeah.
Now, the information was that the opposition got 70% of the vote.
That's where he was when they decided to hide the process.
Yeah.
They're like, we're going to go and count now. Yeah. Here, start playing this video, please. This right here, this is a polling place that they decided, you know what, we're going to close up shop early. And
people trying to get in.
Yeah, they're like, I don't think you're going to be doing that.
Wow.
And I love seeing the pushback by
good for
the
them.
Venezuelans, because this has been going on for 3 days now.
Well, they're sick and tired of it. I think we've mentioned this before. There was a time when Venezuela was the richest nation in Central and South America.
Yeah.
And one of the richest nations, probably after us, in the Western Hemisphere.
Yep.
I think they were second to us.
I think so. Yep.
And that was 50s, 60s before socialism kicked in.
Yep.
And now you got this. I mean, it's really sad. Really sad.
And to your point, the exit polls showed Gonzalez, the opposition leader, at 65, Maduro at 31, and then the actual tally showed 70% for Gonzalez. But then when the election council came back and said, no, we counted the votes, it's actually 51.2 to 44.2, Maduro wins again.
Ha! What a comeback!
Right?
Who saw that coming? What a comeback!
This
guy's incredible.
Absolutely stolen from the people. What's the next video we have out of Venezuela?
Citizen capturing a tank.
Yeah. So they're in the streets, man. They're pushing back. Let's play this, please. I mean, look at that. They captured a tank. That's ours now. That's ours. They're not taking it. I absolutely love what is happening there. And they're being shot at in some parts of the country. I know Caracas, I saw a video of forces shooting back at them. Now, the good thing is, play the next video, too. The next one, they show, there's a statue of Hugo Chavez, who preceded Maduro.
This is reminiscent of Iraq, early 90s.
Yeah.
With Saddam Hussein coming down.
2003, right? When the Saddam...
Oh, yeah, this, yes. By the time it finally came down, yeah.
So there you go. I hope this lasts, and... good luck to him.
I know. It's hard.
Now, I did see a video this morning. Now, here was I didn't send this video in, but what it said was it showed officers that just had T-shirts on. They had taken off their uniforms. And it says, police officers in Venezuela are now taking off their uniforms in defiance of Maduro and as a signal they won't carry out his orders anymore. I hope that's accurate. God bless the people of Venezuela. Apparently, Javier Milei said, "Dictator Maduro, get the hell out." That's apparently a quote from him.
Donald Trump doesn't seem to like Milei.
No. He doesn't. It seems like he doesn't like Bukele of El Salvador.
That's right.
Milei,
I'm getting my dictators mixed up.
No, they're not dictators. Well, Bukele, the jury's out. Milei's a libertarian champion.
Yeah.
But yeah, he keeps bringing up Bukele in speeches.
It's because he's saying that they're emptying out their prisons and sending them here.
Maybe that's how he cleaned up all the gangs down there.
Could well be.
Boy,
I don't know.
if that's the case,
would that surprise you? Wouldn't surprise me.
It would disappoint me.
Yeah,
because this guy's been right on so many other things like Bitcoin and ivermectin.
Right.
I would hate that. Are you seriously dumping your guys into our country? You're the worst among the worst. I mean, come on. So I hope that's not accurate, but Trump keeps bringing it up.
We have another caravan on its way. At last count, this was last week, so I'm sure it's much more than this, but it was 3,000 at that time. 3,000 more headed our way. Yay! All prepped to come across the border all at once. And you know what? This is a rich nation. We can afford it. Just let them in.
Wait, we just went over 35 trillion in debt. Did you not hear that segment? Come on now.
Yeah, but you just ignored that.
I see.
You know? And just let them in.
When they get here, they're just going to work for a better life, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes. I mean, these are mostly peaceful people.
Okay.
Just committing some felonies, murders, drug drug crimes, sexual crimes, but mostly peaceful.
Mostly. Okay.
Mostly peaceful.
Well,
so don't worry about it.
That's promising.
We have citizens who commit crimes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't seem to have a problem with that.
No, I do actually have a problem
you do?
with citizens committing
Why don't you
these
ever
crimes.
talk about that, then?
Well,
you should maybe mention your problem with American citizens committing crimes.
I feel like
Seems like you've been fine with it all this time.
Wait, hold on. Are you scoping?
Now, all of a sudden, when illegals commit crimes, you don't like crime anymore.
I feel like you're scoping down my take in the last 30 seconds. I feel like we've talked about the destruction of American cities.
We need to have a conversation about crime in this country.
Yes,
and the fact that Americans don't like crime by Americans either. When are we going to have that conversation?
I think what we need is a president who locks away and destroys families over, say, a small possession of marijuana. Right?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
But who allows illegal aliens with long rap sheets of violent crime to roam free in America. That's the president we need, and that's the president the Democrats have apparently no, I'm sorry, they didn't choose. They've had that candidate foisted
upon them. Yeah.
My goodness.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Oh, my gosh.
No.
This can't happen.
I fell out of an oak tree, actually.
Did you really?
Yeah.
How old were you?
It wasn't coconut. 16, I think, when I fell out of
Did you break an arm or anything?
No, I was fine. I've never broken a bone in my body. Never done that.
What?
Yeah, I've never broken a bone. You broken things?
That's my mantra. Keith breaks things, Malinak.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, wow.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Triple 800-933-93. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Drove to work from a different location this morning.
Oh
yeah.
Shorter, longer.
Yeah.
Not the same.
Woke up next to the same woman though. I've been waking up next to for 40 years. So that's good. That's good from my perspective, anyway. But it's almost exactly the same amount. It's further from work, but the freeway access is easier, so it takes almost exactly the same amount of time.
Huh.
Yeah.
Maybe we could carpool. Now it sounds like there's a road. What was that laugh? What was that laugh?
Wouldn't that be great?
I don't understand the laugh.
No, I'm just laughing. It's my happy laugh.
Oh, the happy laugh?
Yeah. That's a really happy thought.
It almost sounded like you were scoffing
thought.
The idea of riding to work with me.
It's a happy, super happy thought.
I mean, let's replay that.
Since you're still a little further out, you just come by and pick me up every morning? Yeah, wouldn't that be great?
But I'm just replaying it in my head here. Hey, maybe we could carpool now. That didn't seem like you were...
Not much, Mike. I was just filled with glee.
Maybe you were
instantly.
thinking of something funny you heard yesterday or something, a joke somebody told you.
Well, there was that too.
Yeah,
but
so
it
you
was
had a lot
mostly glee. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
a lot going on in my head right now.
Okay. Well, that's good, though. That's good.
Yeah, it's great.
Now, do you have an idea, and obviously you don't have to get into this, but I'm just curious. Do you have an idea of where you want to end up permanently, like with a house? Like,
yeah, we're going to build, I think. We're going to build.
Further out, closer in?
Don't know. Okay. Somewhere. Somewhere that's not,
well,
in this little rental situation, we've been in really, different circumstances for the last, 20 years of homes. Where we've kind of bought what we really, really wanted all our lives. And so we did. And, it has a little more room. This temporary situation is not exactly like that in that when you look out the window, boom, there's a wall in your face.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite thing.
So
I just want to build somewhere where there's room.
At least land is cheap these days, too. So
that's the good thing. That's the good thing. And all owned by China, which is fun.
But
too.
You know what, though? If you want to keep the kids from moving back in, kids, stop listening. Build yourself a bungalow.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like,
right,
hey,
just one bedroom. It's a one-bedroom place. Darn it. Darn, we'd love to have you move back in with us. We would. Just no room. No room.
Good luck.
But again, get rid of everything you own before you move, because that's my advice now. Then you just don't have to move anything. Just leave it all or throw it all away and then start over. It's just a better alternative, don't you think?
Oh, I've said.
I almost don't care what it costs. Just take all of my stuff and throw it in the garbage.
Everything.
And we'll just start over.
Everything.
Start from scratch.
Yep. It's just clutter at
worse.
this point. If I haven't gotten to this by this point in my life, I'm not going to get to this, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whether it's a book I haven't read or a shirt I haven't worn in, forever.
Yeah.
I've said it many times. All I need is a shack that somehow gets me Falcons games.
Okay.
And Braves games. And then I'm good.
Right.
And then I'm good.
I've reevaluated my entertainment options too, because we've been subscribing to, cable for so long or whatever it is. I don't, it's not even cable anymore, is it? Because it comes from fiber optic. But whatever the case, I've done these services for so long and I never watch it. Never. The last time I watched a network show, like on NBC, ABC, or CBS, I don't know, 15 years, 20 years?
Yeah.
Probably 24 was the last TV show I watched on regular TV.
Oh, wow.
What was that, on Fox?
Yeah.
And so I've just decided I'm not getting one of those anymore. Why pay all that money when you don't even watch it? So I think I'm going to just buy the individual apps I need, like ESPN.
Right.
Okay. Got to have that for football. But other than that, I don't think I'm going to do any of it.
And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, okay, well, in Huskers games, okay, in Oilers games, okay. So what they need to do is they need to have a streaming service that's just sports.
Just sports.
Like that, just
Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, that'd be great.
You just pick your teams, and then they say, oh, okay, well then you're going to want the Big Ten network.
And some would say ESPN is a sports network. Some would say that. But they'd be wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a lot of politics, and not all of your games are going to, like NFL.
Like Nebraska's not got one game scheduled for ESPN.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's.
What are they, CBS? Or
well, now NBC
Fox?
has the deal
NBC?
with Big Ten, which is going to take some getting used to. So it's going to be Fox, NBC, and Big Ten Network are all their games. So,
But all the Husker games are covered? Are they broadcast, all of them?
I mean, the schedule only has TV listings for the first 4 games. So,
but year after year, they're pretty much available, right?
Oh yeah, I see all of them. Sure.
Yeah. All right. In the middle of all the chaos that's going on in America, we got this yesterday from the Biden administration. They announced a new lethal aid package for Ukraine that totals only about $1.7 billion. That's like nothing, right?
Stop it.
The U.S. is committing $1.5 billion in new weapons and equipment to Ukraine through the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative, which I think we all voted for. Remember that? Remember the democracy of voting for that? The Defense Department is also sending Ukraine up to $200 million worth of weapons and equipment directly from the U.S. Department of Defense stockpiles.
Oh, good. We don't need to protect ourselves. Nobody ever wants to hurt us.
Right. That's the thing. So everything we do now, we're just going to send directly to Ukraine. So like Raytheon and Boeing and everybody who has a defense contract, just send it from your factory directly to Kyiv, and you'll be all set. Just avoid the middleman there.
Yeah, there's somebody in the DNC that has Vladimir Zelensky's routing number memorized.
Oh, no question.
Let's be honest.
No question.
Here. And I did some math here. Y'all can check this, but I did some math the other day because I was just astounded that the United States of America, your government, is still sending tax dollars to the Taliban. You may recognize them as those who
as our enemy
run Afghanistan before and after.
Wait, we're still sending money to them?
So here's the math that I did. Okay, the average salary in America is around $60,000 a year before taxes. Let's say the average American is in the workforce for 40 years. So over the course of a lifetime, that average American has earned $2.4 million total before taxes. Again, check my math. That's a disclaimer. That U.S. government that you pay taxes to has spent more than $2.5 billion to Afghanistan, Sent it to the Taliban since the withdrawal of 2021.
My gosh.
Or over 1,000 years of your workforce lifetimes.
This is something we never hear about.
No.
How can this possibly still be going on?
Yeah, it's tapering down.
Oh, my God.
I don't care. It should taper down to 0. It's
tapering down. You just cut it off.
Amen. Yes. It's astounding.
That is incredible.
And it's just sickening. It's sickening, man. It's just...
One thing after another, too, that we have to hear about with this kind of stuff. Yep. My gosh.
What do you do, man?
Complain.
Cool.
And it comes to nothing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great.
I've got some thoughts, but they're probably not for air.
That would be my guess. Yeah.
I don't want to be on the news later.
Right. All right.
It hurts, man. It hurts. It hurts. Yeah. And God bless our troops and all of the military members who were over there for decades.
Mm-hmm.
And then this just
now we're doing this.
Adds insult to injury.
Wow.
And never mind the heartache, the avoidable travesty that happened in 2021 at the airport.
All right, let me take a minute to tell you about Lassie Health. Americans are hurting. Healthcare costs are out of control, of course, and we know government isn't the answer. So what is? Try Lassie Health. That's Laasy. Laasy. Lassie Health. That's not health insurance. It's access to the health care you want without all the red tape, the restrictions, and the inflated costs. This is a great way to get coverage and an affordable way to get coverage. Starts at just $30 a month, and you get transparent pricing, comprehensive coverage, tailored to your needs. You're not paying for a bunch of stuff that you don't need, you don't use. And you get access to healthcare services without breaking the bank. There are no annual or lifetime caps on services, and you can start a plan at any time. You don't have to wait for a sign-up period. Fantastic. For only $30 a month, you get over 400 prescription medications free. Free unlimited virtual mental health counseling. Free 24/7 virtual urgent care. Lab tests up to 60% off. Imaging tests up to 75% off. And procedures and surgeries over 50% off. You can even get plans with vision and dental, primary care, and comprehensive health care coverage. People are saving thousands on everything from MRI scans to ER visits, hospitalizations, and a lot more. And high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and diabetes aren't considered pre-existing conditions, as long as you haven't been hospitalized in the 12 months before you enroll. Lassie Health, Laasy, Lassie Health, is a game changer. Check out the affordable plans that put you in control of your health care at healthylink.com/Pat. That's healthylink.com/Pat. For a limited time, you get your first month free. That's up to $100 off eligible plans. So get healthy, be healthy, and stay healthy without breaking the bank. It is, again, healthylink.com.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
So yesterday in the Olympics, Novak Djokovic of Serbia defeated Rafael Nadal of Spain 6-4, 6-1. Wow, that's a beating.
Mm-hmm.
He refused to get the COVID vaccine, you might remember. Remember, he was banned from Australia. He couldn't come to the U.S. Open, all of that.
Djokovic, yeah.
So prevented him from playing in a lot of tournaments around the world. And here's yesterday's opponent, Rafael Nadal, saying this about Djokovic.
Back in 2021, this is right before the Australian Open that Djokovic couldn't be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
He knew the conditions since a lot of months ago, so he makes his own decision. It's normal that the people here in Australia gets very frustrated with the case because they have been going through a lot of very hard lockdowns and a lot of people were not able to come back. And the only, for me, clear thing is if you are vaccinated, you can play in the Australian Open and everywhere. And the world, in my opinion, have been suffering enough to not follow the rules.
Okay, so we've been suffering enough. Get your vaccination.
Good. Glad you got your beating yesterday. Good. You deserved it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you should be going to get your vaccination is what you should be doing. I don't know why, if I don't want to put that in my body, that I can't play anywhere in the world. But yeah, I guess he did. He knew what the result would be, and he was willing to do it. So
there you go.
Who was right, I wonder, in the end? Because the vaccine turned out to protect no one, pretty much nobody. When we were told back then, if you remember correctly, get the vaccine and you'll be fine. You won't get it. If you would just get vaccinated, you won't get COVID. Turned out to be 100% not true. Completely untrue. An absolute lie. And how many people were injured from the vaccine? We don't know because they won't admit to it. I mean, they've started to trickle down with a few admissions. Like, oh, yeah, maybe a few people got sick. Very, very few, though. When we finally learn the truth, I think it's going to be staggering. And then you're going to be glad you didn't get the vaccine if you didn't get it. I know I am. I'm glad I didn't get that thing. Jeez. And then if you get COVID, like I did, it was no big deal. I mean, for some people, obviously, it was a very big deal. But it certainly changed over the last few years. So who was right? Rafael Nadal or Novak Djokovic? For my money, I'm going with the winner of yesterday's tennis match.
I represent science.
I never want to hear that man's voice again.
Also at the Olympics, a group of pro-Palestinian activists appear to have made anti-Semitic gestures when Israel's national anthem was played before their Olympic men's soccer match against Paraguay. Video that spread Monday on social media also shows the protesters brandishing Palestinian flags and shouting some kind of weird chant. Pictures had previously circulated of the group holding two banners with the words Genocide Olympics scrawled across them.
Oh, no, you can't have that. No, it's already the Godless Olympics. You can't be changing it in midstream.
Right.
So we had Hamas holes show up to were just there to taunt Israeli athletes. Representatives of the
so pathetic
religion of peace.
Well, yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank you for reminding us of that. Mostly peaceful. So that's
mostly peaceful.
That's really good. Jeez.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, it's so agonizing. Israel's been through almost nothing where the Olympics are concerned. 1972, anybody remember what happened there to the poor Israelis then? And still going through that kind of stuff today.
Oh, absolutely. You had that rocket attack that hit that playground.
Killed 12 children.
So sad. And, of course, they blamed Israel first. And I was grateful to see that the United States and Antony Blinken were quick to say, no, this was shot from, I almost said Hamas-held territory. Same thing.
Hezbollah.
Palestinian held territory.
Yeah.
And so it was obvious that they're the ones that launched that rocket into the playground. 12.
Horrible. It's just 12 children were killed. Then there was a weird thing at a Taylor Swift event in London.
Yesterday. Yeah, there was a mass stabbing. Again, all signs point to the religion of peace. Striking again 3 children now.
Yeah,
dead from that.
I noticed the article I was reading. Let me see
really?
what this is. Didn't mention it.
Okay, so you noticed that.
Did not mention it in Le Monde.
I see.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm totally way off base then with my silly assumptions from over here across the pond.
Well, you're obviously a Islamophobe.
I saw plenty of reporting, not from mainstream news outlets, that this was a recent immigrant, and then the police went to a housing complex where these recent immigrants are living. To get their guy who just stabbed kids.
For her part, Taylor Swift said she was completely in shock after the knife attack at a dance class themed around Taylor Swift. Left 2 children. Now it turns out 3 children are dead. She said the horror of yesterday's attack in Southport is washing over me continuously, and I'm just completely in shock. I'm at a complete loss for how to ever convey my sympathies to these families. Really sad. 17-year-old male has been arrested on suspicion of murder and attempted murder over that attack. A third child died just today after the mass stabbing. 2 children died pretty much immediately. 5 others were critically injured. This is a knife attack. What? I didn't think that multiple people. Wait, a knife was supposed to be completely safe. Man. But apparently among the injured, there's 5 children and 2 adults who remain in critical condition over this thing. Police Chief Serena Kennedy said the counter-terror police had offered their support, but that the attack is not being treated as terror-related.
Not terrorism.
No. Okay, good. Well, that's a relief.
The officials have already said that, so...
Well, don't they always?
If you were thinking
don't they say it every single time, whether they believe it or not? They say it every time. Oh, no, this has nothing to do with terrorism. Certainly not. It might be domestic terror. There might be some white person involved.
Oh, no, we'd already know that if there was a white person involved.
Okay.
We'd have his mugshot, we'd have his face, his name, everything available
Yeah, we'd know the
us.
name, we'd know his location, we'd see all his screeds.
But it was just some...
all his manifestos.
Nondescript 17-year-old man.
Just a 17-year-old. That's the only thing we know, but that's the only thing you need to know. Okay? You don't need to know his background. What's it to you? Are you writing a book about it? Skip that chapter.
Skip that chapter.
Okay?
There you go.
You're just a 17-year-old. If you want to put that in the book, that's fine. You want to put 17-year-old male, that's fine. If you want to assume he's white, that's fine. But don't you dare make any other assumption about this guy. Okay? 17. That's all you need to know. So that's always a comfort. To know it's not terrorism.
The ages of the victims were 6, 7, and 9.
God, man. And then multiple others, of course, in bad shape in the hospital. Hopefully they'll pull through.
And this comes after the weekend when Tommy Robinson held an event there in Britain and dared to play his film about, the problems with the mass immigration. Anyway.
Oh, is that what this is about, do they think?
I doubt that. I mean, this is going to happen regardless. But what they did is when Tommy Robinson, they have this really stupid anti-terror law that's been on the books for 20 years. And because he played that movie, so they stopped him when he was leaving the country through, I don't know, the tunnel or one of the tunnels or whatever it was. And I guess and I heard somebody explain all of this in a video that under that law, if you don't let them in Britain at the point where they have stopped you from leaving the country, show them your phone and give them access to it, then they can arrest you. And that's exactly what they did. Because according to this guy that I was watching, somebody really close to Tommy, that gives them just cause to be like, all right, arrest him. Meanwhile, you've got little children at a dance studio being stabbed to death.
Yep.
That's not terrorism. But a guy who dares to play a film that shows you how incompetent and basically evil his own government is.
That's terrorism.
That's terrorism.
Yeah.
This world is upside freaking down, man.
It's crazy. On a happier note, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has approved a blood test that can be used for colorectal cancer screening among average-risk adults 45 and older. So you don't have to have something jammed up a place it shouldn't be jammed up anymore. Isn't that great? That is awesome.
That's great news. That's incredible. Yeah.
I mean, who loves it? But I can't do it.
Well, Jeffy's not here today, so that voice is not in the room to discuss this story.
The test is called SHIELD. It's expected to launch commercially within the next week.
Whoa.
And will join other types of colon and rectal cancer screening methods, including colonoscopies and at-home stool tests. Those are fun, too. Those are fun. Nothing better than a stool test, is there? Where you get to poop on something and then put it in the mail and send it off. I love that.
Oh my gosh, wait, hold on a second. If you're doing that, I've never thought of this. You know when you go to the post office, you go to the counter, like anything hazardous or flammable in here? Oh no.
Oh boy.
I've got to tell them.
Yes.
Yeah, it's...
there's a stool sample in there.
Well,
wait, you mean the kind you sit on? You got a stool here? This doesn't look big enough for a stool. No, not that.
That's where you're at the mercy. You're hoping that the person receiving your package there at the post office isn't a loud talker.
Yeah, right.
You're like,
yeah, right.
Can you keep it? Can we not talk about my poop right here so everyone can hear?
So the test, which has an accuracy rate for colon cancer detection similar to stool tests used for early detection, could offer an alternative for patients who may otherwise decline current screening options. That is fantastic.
So no more
and about time
clearing out your system and then going to the doctor.
So
and
awful.
And then you get to the last thing you see is the doctor standing over you, putting the gas mask on you.
Yep.
Guess what I'm about to do?
It's why so many people, wind up with colon cancer because it's so unpleasant to check it. All right, well, that's fun. We'll get into overtime coming up and then see you back here tomorrow.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.